Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. I'm Chucky2009, and I just wanted to make a quick video for everybody that's following my amateur machining adventures here. Basically, I'm going to be making a handful of hinges here. I'm actually going to be making two different styles of hinges. This is just the first, and I'll be using these on an upcoming project that I'll discuss more about as time goes on. But this is the basic diagram, at least for the first type. I've got two pieces of these hinges. One is going to be a little bit larger with a turn down section. It just fits into the other one. And this right here is the material that I've got to work with. This is just a variety of random drops I was able to pick up from my steel yard for practically nothing. And I thought it'd be a good excuse to get some runtime on the lathe and just make some cool hinges here. So I got everything marked out. As you can see, I got the small end, the larger end, and then the sections that I'm going to be turning down. I just wanted to make everything real nice and easy to follow here. And so, yeah, this is just our material that we're going to be working with. I believe the smallest one of these steel rods is about an inch, and the largest one's about an inch and a half, and I believe there's some inch and a quarter as well. So the way I marked these out, I was going to be cutting these out with my portable bandsaw, and I needed to have a good line to follow all the way around these pieces of material. So I just put them in the lathe. I just used a Sharpie and turned it in the lathe and held the marker in place, and that gave me a nice line all the way around these pieces of material. Then I just got everything cut out, and now I'm just in the process of getting our first piece of material centered on the lathe so I can face them off and turn them down as needed. Now, I did go ahead and order a 3-jaw chuck online. I got a really good deal on a cool old used one off of eBay. The thing's probably about as old as this lathe is. You know, it's great knowing how to center things like this in a 4-jaw, because I'm sure at some point I'll be turning like some square stock or something that's just plain oddly shaped. But most of what I do is just smaller round objects like this, and having to center everything like constantly is kind of a pain. So once I did get everything centered in place, I just started making some light facing cuts, just working on the factory edge, I guess, that came with this piece of round stock, and then from there I just started getting things all nice and turned down. Just I can't really take off too much with this lathe at a time, partly because I'm a total noob at this, and partly because of reasons that I'll discuss later on in the video, but I got plans to improve things a little bit. And this piece of material, if I remember correctly, is about 1.5 inches in diameter, and I'm turning it down to 1 inch, so that way each wall on the sides of our hinges on the smaller pipe that's going to go over what you see here is going to be about 1/4 inch thick. So this is what I got. I gotta say, I'm pretty thrilled with how it came out. I wish the finish was a little bit smoother, but I think I figured out what might be up with that, but I'm not entirely sure yet. You know, I'm really just making this to get a little bit of experience in this type of thing. But from there, I just started getting all set up to drill some holes in these pieces of material. We're working on the smaller sections now. As you can see, this one's quite a bit shorter. I just started out with my center drill, and from there I worked my way up. I believe this is about a 1/4 inch drill bit. I kind of made some pretty large steps just between the different sizes of drill bits, but I feel like it worked out pretty well. So from the 1/4 inch I went up to a 1/2 inch drill bit. You know, I thought about adding some oil to this, but in order to add oil and have it do any good, I have to like stop the lathe and pull back the drill bit and then squirt the oil inside the hole, and it comes out and it's gone like seconds later. So I thought it was kind of a futile effort. But from there, I just worked my way up. I believe this is about a 3/4 inch. No, I think this is the last bit we used, which was about 1 inch. And I mean, it seems to be working. I was pretty thrilled when I got this lathe to, you know, at first figure out that I could like drill holes with this, because normally when you think about drilling a hole, you think about spinning the drill bit and holding your work in place. But I mean, I guess there's no reason why it shouldn't work the other way around. And from there, once I had everything cut out, basically, I just started installing some of these zerks. Now, these are drive-type zerks, so that section where it looks threaded, those aren't actually threads. I know, because I tried to match one of my taps to them. Those are just ribs, basically. And the concept here, I think it's actually a really good idea, but basically all you do is you drill a hole like this. You drill a hole to a specified size, which in this case was 3/16 of an inch, and then you just hammer the zerk in there, and those ribs keep it in place. And yeah, I just used the socket for that. Alright YouTube, so I just got the last zerk fitting installed on our last hinge, and what have I learned about hinges and this lathe in general in this video? Well, a lot. With the hinges, I guess I didn't learn too much. I did, however, make two different styles of hinges, as we discussed. But the first style is this, which involves a longer piece of material with about half of it turned down and then just this hollow end. I learned that this is for the birds because it takes quite a bit of time to machine this down to a narrower point, and it doesn't really provide any noticeable, discernible benefits over doing it this way, which is to have two of these cups and then one piece of round stock that just kind of goes between them. I found out that this is the way to do it because, at least for me, at my current level of equipment and skill set, it's a lot faster for me to just drill one of these holes than it is to turn something like this down, even though this isn't really the biggest deal in the world. It's just, I just think this is faster. It does take one extra Zerk fitting, but that's not really a problem because that takes all of a few minutes to install. So there's that. I actually did most of the stuff on this the other day, and I just came out today to finish these up. Now I've got a little bit of spare time. And in the meantime, I did some research on why my finish sucks so much on these things. And from what I learned, the way it was described to me online is that when you machine hot rolled steel like this, hot rolled steel especially, you're not really cutting the steel, you're tearing it. And so therefore you have to go a lot faster and with a lot more RPMs. And previously, I haven't really been able to do that with this particular lathe because it's not 100% perfect in its current incarnation. What I mean by that is if I try to use more RPMs, the whole thing just shakes so much, and if I try to use more feed rate, it just stalls. This thing was stalling basically non-stop the other day, and I was getting pretty irritated with it. You know, especially when I was drilling those holes, it stalled about halfway through one hole. And I was like, all right, well, how bad is this? And so I turned off the lathe, I just grabbed the chuck, and it's just like that. I could do it with my bare hands. So I adjusted the belt a lot. I made it a lot tighter than it was. I'm also thinking about putting a belt on this that sucks less than the one that's on here. Because, I mean, this thing has to be like decades old. It looks like it's soaked with oil and everything, and I'm sure that's not good for, you know, maintaining friction between the belt and the pulley wheels here. So there's that. I think what I'm going to do is the Serpentine Belt Mod. What a lot of people with these lathes and lathes like them have done is get like a new serpentine belt that you'd put on your car or truck or whatever and glue it together. And supposedly it's a lot better than this old school object over here. So that's coming up soon. And also to deal with the endless vibrations and just everything herking and jerking and shaking all over the place. What I've decided to do is a little bit of work to the stand because this stand is actually really heavy duty. I don't know who built this thing. It was obviously with the lathe when I got it, but they used some really heavy duty channel iron here, which is good. And this is like 2-inch, I believe, schedule 80 pipe on the leg, so that's pretty sturdy as well. The problem is it's like they just didn't finish it because if you look over here, there's the thing for the bed extension. And there's like not even bolts that hold this in where there should be. And the other thing is, I mean, if you just put a little bit of weight on it, the whole thing rattles back and forth. And I'm assuming that's because there's no cross braces between these legs. And so my fix for that is to basically just go over this thing with a fine-tooth comb and do what someone probably should have done a while back, but for whatever reason, I guess just never got around to it or whatever. We're going to put bolt holes where there need to be bolt holes and put bolts through the holes. And I'm going to run some cross braces between these legs and put about 500 pound vibration murdering dead weight on there because I want to have a stand on this lathe that actually works to fight vibration and rattliness as opposed to encouraging that. So that'd be cool too. Yeah, so I guess this about winds down the video. I got these hinges made. And in the next lathe video I do, I'm going to be adding a few things to this that I discussed and some things that I bought online and haven't made it out to the shop yet that I will discuss in that video. But in the meantime, thanks for watching everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, what do I usually say? Yeah, thanks for watching, have fun, stay safe, have a good night everybody. Yeehaw.